These are 6 of the most controversial cases of divorce that rocked Nigerian churches. Only that this is not just a divorce case that involved members of the churches, but these are divorce cases that involved famous general overseers, pastors, and so-called prophets. If you stick with me for a few moments, I'll take you on a ride and let's find out what happened and see if the condition is redeemable. And first on our list is a mega church pastor, Chris Oyakhilome, founder of Love World Ministry, Christ Embassy Church. He was married to Anita Eboadagi on February 2nd, 1991. The couple, who met as university students, had 2 daughters, Sharon and Charlene. In April 2014, Anita filed for divorce in London, citing claims of adultery and unreasonable behavior. The divorce was finalized on February 8, 2016. The Christ Embassy founder's now ex-wife led the ministry's branches in United Kingdom, among other things. In 2014, members of Christ Embassy started noticing that Anita had not attended any ministry events for a long time. Pictures of her were also taken down from Christ Embassy's website. After a long time of silence, the couple finally revealed that they were separated and were seeking a divorce. Pastor Chris Oyakhilome and Anita were seen as marital role models to members of the Christ Embassy Church, so they could not believe that the couple would fight for a divorce. Pastor Chris, in many of his sermons, had stated that divorce is not a Christian thing to do, but he also acknowledged that if a wife insists on divorce, then the husband is entitled to give it to her. It is no longer in your hands, and you are not at fault anymore, says the pastor. There were speculations on what led to the split, and Pastor Chris Oyakhilome eventually gave some insight as to what happened. According to him, Anita Ogbaoge did not share his vision of the church. According to him, Anita Eboadagi did not share his vision of the church, and that was what was the deal breaker for him. The members of the church also speculated that their relationship disintegrated because of long distance. While Pastor Chris Oyakhilome spent the vast majority of his time in Nigeria, his now ex-wife was in United Kingdom most of the year. Neither of them has remarried. Well, at least not for the moment. We are still waiting for the wedding bells to ring. And number 2 on our countdown, we have Reverend Chris Okotie, another Chris. Reverend Chris Okotie is a former pop singer turned preacher. He is the founder of the Household of God Church International Ministries in Lagos. His first marriage to Tina ended in 2001 after 15 solid years of marriage. In 2008, he married Stephanie Henshaw, a mother of 3, but announced their separation in 2012, citing irreconcilable differences. Chris Okotie's marriage to Tina packed up without any child. He was single for a while before he decided to marry Stephanie. Stephanie, on the other hand, had tasted 2 earlier marriages and had 3 children from the earlier marriages. Okotie's marriage to Stephanie Henshaw was his second attempt at matrimony, and the wedding was a colorful celebration. However, in 2012, Pastor Okotie announced on Sunday, "Stephanie and I are no longer married. We have separated. You can see she's not in the church today, and it's due to some irreconcilable differences. You should please respect our wishes at this time because there is no going back. Why are all these people separating because of irreconcilable differences? I thought pastors are supposed to know better. They are supposed to lead better. What is happening?" Furthermore, on the crash of Reverend Chris Okotie and Stephanie Henshaw's marriage, there were no additional details that have been released on the specific matter. In the year 2022, Pastor Chris Okotie said that the issue of marriage is a closed chapter in his life. And in an exclusive interview he granted BBC Pidgin, he said, "God told me that he did not call me to get married. He called me to be like Paul, but he tried to stop me and I didn't listen at the time. The life he called me to live is to be dedicated to him and the work he called me for. So marriage is not on the menu again," says Pastor Chris Okotie. Now, the problem I have with this revelation is, why were you so stubborn if God was talking to you and you refused to listen? How then were you able to collect revelations from God that you were leading your church if you yourself were being stubborn to God? And number 4 on our list, we have Pastor Chris Okafor. We have another Chris on the list, ladies and gentlemen. Some people would say, why always Chris? Why are Chris the only prophet, pastors, and GOs who are always found wanting in the ministration of marriage, even though their ministry is working fine? Pastor Chris Okafor is the founder of Mountain of Liberation and Miracle Ministry, also known as Liberation City. In 2012, his former wife, Besson, and mother of their 4 children left their home and has not returned since. In 2014, she accused him of assault and even shared some of the photos of injuries she allegedly received from his assault. Pastor Chris Okafor, popularly referred to as the Oracle, is a faith healer with particular emphasis on dealing with foundations and altars. And you could see even in his miracle session when he's delivering people, you can see him using brute force and aggression. So maybe this is just him being misunderstood by his wife. And coming in on our 4th spot is another Chris. Pastor Chris Kwapovwe is the founder and senior pastor of Manna Prayer Mountain, MPM, Ministry Worldwide, headquartered in Lagos. He is also the author of the immensely popular daily devotional, Our Daily Manna. The pastor divorced his wife, Pastor Dolapo Kwapovwe, whom he married in 1987. The 61-year-old trained pharmacist turned preacher is now married to Flora Ejiro Kwapovwe. They got married in 2000. What is wrong with all these Chris's and divorce? It's as if Chris is the wrongest name to choose for your son, especially when you feel that he has a calling to be a pastor. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you at our number 5 spot because we don't have a Chris at this position. We have Pastor Itua Igodalo. He is the founder and senior pastor of Trinity House, Victoria Island, Lagos. The 62-year-old Igodalo was one of the renowned provincial pastor of Redeemed Christian Church of God, the RCCG. He was formerly married to Lucy Ann Sommer, who he married in 1995. The marriage, however, hit the rock a few years later, and in 2007, he married a former beauty queen and event planner, Ibidun Ajayi. Due to the sensitive position he held in the church, he was suspended as a pastor in RCCG for remarrying another woman. He, however, left the church to establish the Trinity House, Lagos. These events happened over 10 years after he separated from his first wife, who had gone on to marry and have children. His second wife, Ibiodun Ajayi Igodalo, passed on in June 14, 2020 in Port Harcourt. Papa, even you, if these young pastors are going astray, can't an old pastor like you lead them on the right path? Coming in, gun blazing at number 6, Prophet Joshua Ingala is the founder and senior pastor of the Abuja-based Champions Royal Assembly. And in 2019, he made a shocking confession when he revealed that him and his wife, Yemisi, both had children out of wedlock. According to the 55-year-old clergyman, his wife brought an illegitimate child into their home. He forgave her, but she refused to forgive him when he had a child with another woman. They have since gotten divorced. He later married prophetess Stella Zimasa, a South African, who had a daughter for him while he was still married to his first wife. Now look at the stories, look at the confusion. And all these are happening in the household of so-called pastors, reverends, clergymen, GOs, and prophets. And if these people are the standard of Christianity and the standard of marriage, tell me to whom the church members will go to get counseling about their marriage. If these people can't even keep their homes, how do they keep a church? How do they obey God if they don't even obey the simple instruction of no divorce in marriage? Going into marriages with children gotten outside wedlock. Now, I'm not against people making mistakes, but I'm against people hiding their mistakes. If you can hide it from your church members, can you hide it from God? And there is a popular saying, you can only give what you have, so you can't pour from an empty cup. And these so-called prophets and pastors are surrounded by sexual scandals and divorces. And these are the people you run to guard your faith. Put your trust and hope in God. To round up this video, tell me your thoughts about clergymen who are getting divorces. Is it good for the church? Are these supposed to be the standard of Christians? Are these people supposed to give marriage counsels to married people if they themselves can't even keep the simple instruction of marriage? How can they dish it out to other people?